Welcome to a special Clips edition of What Gets Measured, curated especially for product and engineering teams at advertising agencies. In this episode, we're going to explore how to enhance and improve your product and engineering strategies. I've selected only the tastiest quotes from a selection of our best episodes for this topic to guide you in developing data-driven product innovations, reliably incorporating tech solutions, and maintaining effective data integration practices. Let's get to it. Of all the roles in an agency, the product and engineering teams are both the most important and least visible. The product and engineering team plays a crucial role in developing, maintaining, and enhancing the technological infrastructure and tools that support the agency's operations and client services. But people can't always tell this important work is working. That's because it's too easy to get caught up in the flashy stuff like ads and branding, forgetting about the tech wizards and witches and tools behind the curtain. The product and engineering staff keep things running smoothly, but it's like they're invisible when everything's working. Since they don't always interact with clients, we can forget how much they contribute. Plus, when they fix problems super fast, it seems like no big deal. Marketers tend to give all the credit to the fancy tools, but it's the teams who build and maintain them that deserve the recognition. I spoke earlier this year to Jason Tatum, VP of Product at CallRail, about data-driven product innovation, and he had some interesting insights on the difference between qualitative and quantitative data in product management, and how there is not just one metric to track.
I think that when we talk about being data-driven, there is the quantitative side, and then there's the qualitative side of data. On the quantitative side, what you're trying to do is be curious enough and ask enough questions of how our users or our customers behave in mass, in aggregate, and over time to be able to build out the quantitative looks, the dashboards and reports that you are soaking yourself in every day. And I think a lot of product people make the mistake of saying all that matters is this one path. How much time do they spend on the page? Or how many daily active users do we have? And if they're not being really thoughtful, they're going to miss out on the most illuminating statistics that could help make them make better product decisions.
If a product team is hyper-focused on that one metric they've been told to move, the agency could miss stats and insights that could really help make better product development decisions. All of this could be easy if there was a strategy behind the technology, but most agencies struggle with this. After years of bridging the gap between technology and marketing teams of every shape and size, Daryl Alonso decided to compile his hard-won Martech experience, advice, and expertise into a book, the Martech Handbook, that would help marketers leverage their marketing strategies with technology. When I sat down with Daryl, he talked about a lack of strategy in Martech and how most people don't even have one.
The problem is, you ask any marketer what their Martech strategy is, or if they even have one, and chances are you'll probably get a non-answer, right? People are, or marketers are cobbling together different Martech tools, different platforms. They're putting together email, they're putting together social, they're putting together CRM without really an overarching holistic approach and strategy to effectively drive good business. The work of marketing is project and workflow management. All of the things that we do are actually these projects. And if we're failing to deliver these projects and we're failing to build processes to do them in a repeatable and scalable way, then you have a really inefficient, ineffective marketing organization. And that's, I think, the number one sign of a lack of a Martech strategy. One other thing that I want to mention too about a good sign of maybe too many tools or lack of strategy, again, which is the underlying thing, is chaos. It's you have chaotic, undefined marketing processes. You launch a campaign and maybe you see the report, but that report doesn't lead and doesn't connect to your overall business reporting. Or you're posting on social media, but that has no connection with the overall themes of your marketing campaigns for the rest of the business.
If an agency fails with a strategy for their tech stack, it's an invitation for inefficiency and data chaos, which leads into how agencies should approach data infrastructure. Data is life, particularly for the product teams and agencies. All of the smartest people in the room suggest creating a centralized data warehouse which consolidates data across platforms, enhancing media buying and planning efficiency, but getting to this is easier said than done. I interviewed Devin Ravel while he was head of partnerships at High Touch, and he explained how important it is to centralize data and know exactly where to get the data you need within an agency.
Where are you getting your data today, right? Is the data you're working with today working for you? And if not, do you know where in your organization you might be able to get better data? Because there is a really good chance that somebody on a data team or within the IT organization has a plethora of consumer data that you might not be aware of. Do you even know who that person is? Because maybe we can just have a conversation and help build some bridges and figure out, is there a better way to get better data? That's pretty much like the first step.
The theme of empowering people and processes and then adding in technology needs to be underscored here, because handling the data is its own beast.
I think the biggest mistake that I see, and this applies in multiple contexts we can talk about, but is companies not abstracting sort of data collection, data transformation, et cetera, from the tools where it's sort of used in a business context. If you don't abstract it, what ends up happening is you have very limited ability to create the analytics that teams need to make really good decisions or understand their customer and their journey. And that creates what I call localized optimizations. So in the context of Salesforce, and this is pervasive, generally you have a first touch or last touch attribution model. And so you're looking at 10 to 20% of your customer's actual journey and like trying to optimize paid spend on that, which leads to wildly inefficient return on ad spend. Okay. So these are just some of the ways that not abstracting makes you beholden to the limitations of whatever downstream tool you're using.
That's Eric Dodds, head of product marketing at RudderStack, in a previous interview about data integration. His advice on having a holistic approach with normalized data is really the only pathway to ensuring accurate and efficient use, budgets, and bandwidth. Eric also talked about how data maturity is not necessarily a reflection of the size of an organization.
A lot of people think about maturity in terms of the size of the company, but I'll tell you right now, that is not true, right? You have some very large enterprises that have a very low level of data maturity, right? And think about it, like smaller companies actually have an opportunity to implement a more forward-thinking data stack architecture than larger companies because they can move faster.
This pivots perfectly into the importance of data integration and how product teams can help drive innovation by utilizing all the data an agency collects, and where expectations for this data might meet reality. When I interviewed Mark Donatelli and Daniel Kowal, both founders of Simply, they both had really good advice on data and the hopes and hindrances of it for agencies.
I think what's happening now is that the democratization and the accessibility of data and the amount of data available is continuing to grow, and people are getting access. But the problem is that a lot of times when amateurs or novices get access to new tools and new things, sometimes they go a little off track, right? They don't get necessarily used in the best possible way or in the most efficient way. And so we're seeing an opportunity to where as I'll call it, the demand side, the demand for insights and intelligence and actions and triggers, and like everybody wants to do better with data, but they often don't know how.
People are doing a good job about trying to collect information, gather information, deploy information. The landscape is constantly changing and the challenges are constantly changing. And so, people just need to be aware that more is not necessarily always going to be better. In the case of trying to gather information, a lot of times it's quality over quantity.
It can be an hindrance. Having too much is sometimes is the problem.
Data integration is really just an end goal of any federation exercise. And so when you're talking about federation, it's really just like a data integration exercise that lets whoever is asking a question about multiple data sources have their hands on their fingertips, have that data right at their fingertips. And so, most of the time businesses are looking for a single source of truth. There's a statistic that says something like on average, enterprise businesses have 40 different data sets that they're maintaining in order to manage their day-to-day operations. And so like anytime that you have a question within a business that spans more than one of those sources, you're looking at some kind of a mapping exercise that requires you to be able to kind of bring all that stuff together. And so the goal with any of these data federation exercises is to pre-build those connections so that they're faster and that they're easier to access and that they're less labor intensive for people.
Data integration is the very necessary work of speeding up insights from useful data and learning how to ignore the useless stuff. This leads into data governance and the importance of training, education, and strong communication set up between individuals and teams. Our last clips come from a recent interview with Tianai Fang, an amazing musician and head of data strategy and governance at ThoughtWorks Europe. Tianai explains that the most important part of data governance is not technology, but talent.
I would say that generally the human aspect of data governance is underemphasized in many ways, because we can have the best tools in place to empower data governance in the right way. But if we don't have the right people and having the right attitudes and the right mindset and the behavior attached to it, nothing's going to happen. AI is, of course, all the hype right now, but AI is empowered and can only be empowered by data, right? And if the data is not good enough to be used for AI, then we always refer to that concept of garbage in, garbage out, right? No matter how great your AI model is, if the data that AI is learning from is not good enough, it's only going to amplify that garbage from before. And the key to make data quality good is data governance, right? Ensuring that people's behavior towards data is right, that the processes around data are right, and that the technologies are supporting high quality data as well to avoid those risks.
Again, this theme of people and processes being more important than tech is a key insight. People's behaviors with data and processes and technologies have to all ladder up to support the goals of the agency. That's why product and engineering teams are the unsung heroes who already know this story, and why their work is critical to an agency's overall success. That wraps up our special compilation episode on product and engineering roles in ad agencies. We hope these insights from our past episodes have provided you with valuable strategies and ideas to implement in your role. For more detailed discussions, check out the full episodes linked in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, share this episode with your colleagues, and join the NinjaCat newsletter for more exclusive content tailored to product and engineering professionals. Until next time, I'll see you on the internet.